We just start the stream on Schlatt's beautiful face over here. Are we up? Are we live? Are we working? Come on. Come on. It might have started. I just need to double check. I'm just double checking. Do I sound clear? Am I clear? Hello, hello. Yeah, seems to be working. And we're up. Yay. Okay, fantastic. So, where were we? Where were we? Yes, I downloaded the video. I know it's still not in perfect quality, but now we don't have to rely on the internet. So, you know, win-win or something. Schlatt, where were we? Yeah, we're having the same debate, okay? Nothing changed, okay? It's a billion lions versus one of each Pokemon. I think I was, you know, I was winning very decidedly last time, using facts and logic and research and, you know, stuff. Maybe that's the wrong approach, but it's my approach, okay? So this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm doing it, okay? As you were.
We're talking about lions versus Pokemon.
That is the concept,
if the Pokemon flee the battle, they forfeit. That's a forfeit.
I didn't
lions
flee.
Win by forfeit.
My internet was just horrible.
That's what you said.
No,
my
they're not
internet was just
fleeing. They're just
unbearable
going
last
somewhere
time.
else and continuing the
What
battle.
That's the definition of fleeing.
It's a tactical retreat. You know, that's what it's called. It's about marketing, okay? You can do anything. It's just how you market it. So if you want to call it fleeing, you can. But if you want to call it a tactical retreat, better.
No, it's not. Oh my God.
Yes.
You think if you're in danger and you wanna survive, do you think it'd be a win if you just got killed?
Yeah, well, you're not gonna win if you don't beat the other thing.
And
you do.
We absolutely win. We outlive them.
This is stalemate.
I'm not going stalemate. You could fly to a fucking island. You just fly to an island in the middle of a lake, and then the lions can't get to you.
What's the point in the Coliseum then if all your birds are flying away?
I'm saying the setting can be anywhere.
I know that you can start anywhere and then fly away, but that's not me. My lions don't get defeated because you fly away.
Eventually they die.
And then they drown.
Yeah.
Drown. Lion Bridge. They'll just
Pokemon understand me.
No, they don't.
How would they take orders?
Did you know it's actually canon? Pokemon companies actually confirmed that Pokemon don't speak English,
No, they don't speak English, but they speak whatever common language of the area is. You know, they can understand humans. So, yeah, they don't speak English because, you know, they don't speak Japanese either. I understand it's a Japanese IP, but, you know, they understand the people within that universe. That's how it works. It's like in D&D, there is common language. What language is that? They don't speak English. It's common. And we speak, for example, in a random session, you'll be speaking English and they can understand. Yeah, I don't like that. Hey, no. No.
Stupid as a Pokemon fan, but works against you in this argument.
What do they speak?
Pokemonese.
What the fuck is Pokemonese?
Terrible
Their
name.
language. It's the Pokemon language. Only a couple Pokemon can speak English. I think you're losing this.
Yeah,
I'm not losing. You
No.
think that a god Pokemon will be put on a cross by...
Bro, stop. What I was talking about was, if you have Alakazam, yeah, I'm bringing back the whole Alakazam thing. If you have Alakazam lead the army, psychic, I don't even have to, there's no language. There's no language to, you know? And I think every legendary Pokemon can communicate psychically. They don't have to be psychic Pokemon to do it. They're just that, you know, mystical and powerful. They could just communicate, like, just because they will it. Okay, maybe not every legendary Pokemon, but, like, you know, the major ones, you know? Because the legendary Pokemon are broken up into certain categories, but whatever. What I'm saying is, Lugia is a bad example because Lugia is a psychic type. But, for example, in the movie, Lugia was able to talk to Ash just mentally, you know, and to different people. And the Pokemon Alakazam, or even if it's not Alakazam, fine. Alakazam sends the message to all the psychic Pokemon, and all the psychic Pokemon disperse it to the rest if you want to talk about range or something. Cool? We cool? They can understand each other. They can communicate. The lions cannot. The lions roar at each other, and then there's infighting. That's it. No bridge. Or they drown. Either no bridge or they drown. Or both, because no bridge, so they drown. Or if they drown, then they can't make a bridge.
A bunch of smart lions,
Yes,
which is
history will repeat itself.
he's up in the fucking the ozone layer.
Why is he in the ozone layer?
Because that's what he is. I did research on him.
That's
Arceus, he's
Rick
up in the
Quasar.
fucking sky.
He's in a
Arceus
different
is
dimension.
in the ozone layer.
He's in the sky.
Hey, don't bully him because he
I
doesn't
just
know
love
this
that
the
he's
franchise.
specifically in the ozone
I
layer.
don't-
Ray
that's
Quasar
what he
is
said,
specifically
I
in
think.
the
I
ozone
don't.
layer.
You don't. They
Jaden?
can't get up to him. He can send floods and plagues.
And pestilence.
Lion rocket.
Yes.
No.
Lion
I
slingshot.
categorically reject the notion of a lion slingshot.
You know what? Yes, the lions may not be able to create a lion slingshot. The Pokemon can create a Pokemon slingshot. You know those useless Pokemon? The ones that, fucking Metapod and the cocoon, the other cocoon one, the not Cacturn. I mean, even though Cacturn would work, it's a cactus. You just throw a cactus plant. You'll knock out a lion with that. And you'll hurt them bad. Fucking Metapod just harden a billion times, and just have one of the psychic Pokemon just sling it. It's a reusable cannonball, and the lions can do nothing about it. And there are plenty of Pokemon that could use harden. These are magical creatures, okay? The lions don't stand a chance.
That's ridiculous. At the worst, you tie. You call it a draw because the lions can't get to Antarctica.
I have proof.
Okay, if the lions can't get to Antarctica... Okay, I can't keep pausing it every second. But I mean, I want to. I have a lot to say. If the lions can't get to Antarctica, eventually the lions die off. We've seen... we have zero precedent for a lion living, several hundred years. But we have an example of a Pokemon living several hundred years. That Arcanine from that one episode. I know, that's super vague, but trust me, bro. Source, trust me. And fucking the legendary Pokemon, they're immortal, I think. So the lions, less than immortal, so they die. Which mortal, so they die. The Pokemon live longer. So if there is a stalemate, if they are going to live separately, why has my stream stopped? Where has my stream go? Okay, it hasn't stopped. It looks like it stopped. What's going on? The internet's still working, right? The internet's just a little bit behind. Please be working just a little bit behind. I don't know. Anyway,
Proof, look at this.
What? You sent in another image?
How do you explain this?
What the fuck is this shit? You just sent me an MS Paint rendering
They're not ants,
of lions
okay?
arranged in the shape of a boat on water.
Check this one out.
This is just 10 lions stacked on top of each other. They
How
couldn't
fast?
do this.
This
How
is how they
fast
win.
does
They
she do
could.
this?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How did you get an image of 10 lions stacked on top and slapping Arceus?
It's on Google.
He can fly away.
It's not. It is
No,
so
you can't.
not.
Yes, you can. You
Google.
can fly.
What?
You fly.
Like this.
But he can fly.
Fly away from that.
You think a
Arceus-
trebuchet
Yes.
is gonna accurately hit a flying Pokemon?
I've got so many lions.
Bull tits, okay? Complete BS, okay? These Pokemon are regularly avoiding flamethrowers, in that tiny battlefield that's like, I don't know, half a football court. Soccer, half of football, like an actual football, whatever. It's a small court, okay? It's not, it's a five-a-side court. That's the area they're fighting in, and they're able to dodge, flamethrowers directed at their faces, okay? Completely unscathed. You're not gonna launch a lion at it and think you're actually gonna hit one of those flying Pokemon, okay, Jaden?
To launch
bullshit.
out of
You
that
know it.
You do have You do have a lot of tries.
The lions
Yes,
have a.
yes, that's true. You have a lot of tries, you have a lot of lions. You don't have opposable thumbs, okay? The lions have nothing. The Pokemon can just think it. And the psychic Pokemon, at least, can just think it and just make it be. It's broken. Okay? Psychic Pokemon in a real-life setting are just the most broken thing. And you want to talk about, in the anime, you see... Vine Whip? Vine Whip is so useful. Vine Whip is used all the time. This is a personal theory of mine. Vine Whip, they use it less and less throughout the series, and they had to remove Bulbasaur from Ash's team in the original series purely because Vine Whip just solved all their problems. Every problem they had, Vine Whip it. Something's out of reach, Vine Whip it. You're falling, Vine Whip. Someone else is falling, Vine Whip. It just solves everything.
A solution to everything.
They don't.
How about you sling the argument at me that there's ghost type Pokemon that the lions can't hit?
Okay.
There are ghost type Pokemon that. Okay, thank you,
Jane,
Schlatt.
what about the ghost type Pokemon?
Well, a fool would think that
You activated
that
my
would
trap
work.
card.
You told me to say that.
the lions have the dark type move of bite.
No, they
But
don't.
all
No, they
lions-
fucking
Lions
don't.
Yes.
can use Pokemon moves now?
Exactly.
Some of the
They're normal. It's like throwing a punch. Throwing a punch is not the same like throwing a mega punch. Okay? Ash can't throw a mega punch no matter how badly he tries. Okay? So the lions don't have any dark type moves. Okay? You sneaky ass motherfucker.
Strong enough to use the move Crunch even, which is super effective on the ghosts.
Yeah.
If you knew that as a Pokemon trainer.
I don't. I have no idea.
Maybe
Oh, my brain
someone
hurts.
super knowledgeable would be able to manage all these Pokemon.
They wouldn't survive without me because I'm gonna be telling them exactly what to
Why
do.
is there a
And not
delay?
just that. Guess what I have?
What?
Oh
That's
shit.
right.
Okay.
This one's got a fucking switch on it.
You think a tiny gut handgun is gonna take down a 500-pound lion?
It'll take one down.
It'll,
one?
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations on taking down one lion by yourself, Schlatt.
I'll be in the air. They will have flown me out
The
of there.
Pokemon will protect
the
him.
lions will follow.
Lions could not survive a fucking day under harsh weather conditions that
Yes.
are not perfectly calibrated to them.
They live in the desert. It's literally the desert.
Okay. They live in like in some savannas in Africa, okay? They're not gonna do shit in Antarctica. They're not gonna do shit in the you know, super harsh cold climate. I understand they're accustomed to the heat. And let's go fight in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Let's see how long your lions are gonna survive that. They'll dehydrate and die. Macargo doesn't give a shit. And that's if anything on the face of this planet survives. Macargo just existing. Last video I was talking about how Macargo's body temperature is, what was it, 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and the surface temperature of the sun is just 10,000. Okay, 10,000, I mean, it's not a little, it's not a small amount, but it's almost double the surface temperature of the sun. Nothing's gonna survive that. Zero things, exactly and precisely zero things are going to survive that. The ghost type Pokemon will die. You understand that doesn't even make sense, but it will happen. Macargo will survive though, and that's a win, okay? And I understand we talked about like, oh, a billion is a lot, okay? But again, they can all fit on one planet. You have 8 billion. You have 8 times that number you're arguing of humans. They don't even occupy most of it. There's a lot of empty space with no humans on it. If you put the sun on top of the Earth, it's over. They're finished. They're fried. We all are. We're dead. If Macargo exists, we are dead. But the Pokemon win, and that's the important part.
The harshest environment there could be.
Now go somewhere cold, which is what I will do.
Lion
Yeah.
jacket.
Fuck's sake, I forgot this part. Ah!
Don't look at me like that.
You're stunned. You're stunned. The lions adapt.
They're gonna use some of the lions, murder them, and create a lion coat.
Yes. The lions are more adaptable than you think.
You can't build a trebuchet. I bet you don't even know the schematics of that.
Well, the lions will figure it out.
The lions will
Fucking
not
lions
figure
will
out
figure it
shit.
My God, I'm so done with this. I'm so fucking done with this, Jane Animations. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
Ditchlat win.
Thank you, Schlatt. Schlatt,
You guys can go to ditchlatwin.com.
Schlatt, you had the right side of the argument, but the poor side of argument style. Okay, I think Jaden made it more funny, haha. So she was able to get the win on this video. I'm just saying this as someone, you know, with hindsight. I saw like, you know, there's a rematch for a reason. Is there anything else you need to shout out?
Twitter.com/DidSchlattWin.
Yeah.
And vote in the poll to see who won this argument.
As fucking if, you know,
Thanks so much,
being
Jaden.
on
You
my...
got anything to shout out?
Me.
Wow, what a waste. Bye.
I mean, it is a waste. It is a waste, you know, having that shout out on my channel, on my 7 subscribers. Who don't even watch my videos. DitchThatWin.com, yes. And maybe if there's a comment, if there's a way to leave a comment, me. Count me as help. Can I, where did I, oh no. It's in my downloads folder, isn't it? Hello, yes, this is my I like JoJo. Damn it, I don't like showing my stuff. Where did I leave this stupid video? What? No! What? Okay, give me a sec. Give me, oh my, no. What happened? Give me a sec. Oh, okay. I'll be right back. Where did the second video go? Oh. Well then, excuse me, I was just being dumb. I don't know. The video's right here. I was properly prepared, okay, for a change. Is it? We're back? Okay, we're back. So, yes, I was prepared. And I'm just gonna go over here and just open up another tab, just in case we need to search up, what was it called? What was the name of that beautiful website that helped so much? Pokemon, yeah, there you are. There, thank you for remembering. Google, I for one appreciate our tech overlords, okay? I hope they remember that I was very much in favor of, okay. Fuck you. So, I'm on my own, I guess. I could just search random stuff then, which is fine, That's usually what Google's for. I'll just let it reload in the background while I watch this. So, Schlatt, we're back at the second video. Take it away. Give us the intro. Give us the
My name is Schlatt, and a billion lions would get smacked by all the Pokemon.
They absolutely
And I'm joined
would.
today by Jaden Animations.
Yes.
Who doesn't seem to think so.
Hello. No, I do not think so. I'm back for round 2.
It's
Welcome
a round
back.
2. We're rematching. I was actually so off that you guys didn't think that I won. That
ridiculous.
we're doing it again.
Honestly.
And I brought back up in the
Unbearable.
form of Wolfie.
Hey, how's
Hey,
it going?
Wolfie.
Wolfie is a professional Pokemon player, and
I
he has
mean,
made
he is, yes.
basically the Bible of
Genuinely
this
is.
whole debate.
Yeah, I consider myself something of an expert, so I'm not too worried about this little chat.
Watching. Oh, Alphared. Okay, yeah, that makes sense with Jaden. No, I was just. No, watching some of Wolfie's videos is just, it's frustrating. Just the amount of shit he knows. And while I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can I, like, the only reason I probably have never touched like competitive Pokemon play is because of Wolfie just explaining stuff to me, and I just feel so dumb. Not to me personally, just he makes a video talking about like, oh yeah, he's using this strategy with these moves, with these things, and I'm all gone, you know?
He's in the background. just so nobody forgets.
And Jaden
Fair.
has brought along Alpharad.
Hello.
Hey,
Huge member of the Lions community.
yes.
Let's get started, shall we? I think this whole argument last time about a lion rocket and a lion jacket and a lion slingshot, I think it's the most
Ridiculous.
ridiculous thing possible.
Bro, the
1,000%.
heart of your last argument was Charizard is cool.
Shut up.
And the birds will fly away.
You're already derailing. You're already derailing
You
this.
brought up Charizard.
You're deflecting. You're deflecting. Okay, listen.
I have a question. Can I jump in here?
Yeah,
Because I feel like here's the thing. We know how lions work, but I feel like in order to have this kind of debate, we need to agree on some things, like some ground rules for the Pokemon.
I agree.
Right?
Okay.
I think that's healthy.
I mean, I think
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why, Wolfie, you're being so generous to them when they deserve none of it because they pick such a dumb side of the argument. Pokemon are so overpowered. Not all of them, obviously. Just some are just ridiculously overpowered. You know?
I guess my question is, we have kind of two main places that we can look for, like, how we want to talk about the Pokemon. We can look
Two?
at, like, the anime. We can look at, like,
Yes.
what the Pokedex says.
That's 3.
And then we can just kind of make general assumptions based on, like, the game. So,
What the?
Okay, well those are 3 things. That's the I would put the anime and the movies into one category, and I would put the games into its own category, and I would put the Pokédex stuff in its own category. The Pokédex stuff, I put it at much higher regard because it makes my point better for me, and because it's done, like I said last time, by research professionals, you know, the authority on all things Pokemon, like Professor Oak, you know. So the Pokédex, don't look down on the Pokédex. The Pokédex makes a lot of sense to rely on. Okay. The games I feel is probably our weakest argument, and the anime and movies work out perfectly fine for me. 0 complaints there.
Fuck is a Pokédex?
Oh, Wolf, you have
Jesus.
some heavy lifting.
I just want to be completely clear. I've brought no new knowledge to this conversation. I'm just.
Fair enough. If you do not know what a Pokédex is, God help you. Pokédex is a Pokemon index. It is just a collection of it was essentially what I was using last video, and the website I tried to open this time. It is just a collection of pieces of information about each and every Pokemon ever. And Schlatt, I'm glad I paused on this frame because I hate you for making my job so much harder. My job. But, you know, my role in this so much harder than it has to be. Pokemon win this low to no diff, okay?
Relying on Wolfie here.
He's like, let's run it back, and I will not change as a person.
the Pokedex, when you catch a Pokemon in the game, it like kind of fills in this almost like dictionary style thing where like you're like studying the Pokemon, and the Pokedex will say things like, when this Pokemon is sad, it creates a black hole.
Okay, no, I have a huge question on that.
Sure.
Like, every time I talk about lions, people talk about, like, Yveltal or whatever, and they say,
Yes.
like, when it dies,
Yes.
the world blows up and it's over.
Well, no, the world doesn't blow up. I know this off the top of my head because, you know, hardcore Pokemon fan. You deserve this, Alpharad. I'm pausing on this frame for that dum-dum that you just goofed up. Am I just mean? Sorry. Yveltal doesn't just blow up the earth, okay? When Yveltal eventually dies, yes, I know I said that, you know, legendary Pokemon are essentially immortal, because it is. Because as soon as it dies, it sucks the life energy of everything and revives itself, which includes those lions. Those lions are gone bye-bye, and then Yveltal's back. Even if all humans die, even if all other Pokemon die, Yveltal's there. Yveltal's still alive. Checkmate.
Humanity ceases. How
Yes.
do we know?
Well, like,
We know a lot of things without first-hand experience, okay? Nobody has, you know, had to go into a black hole to know about spaghettification, okay? We weren't personally there for the dinosaurs, but we know they're around. There's evidence for them being there, you know? So in the same way, I'm sure these professional researchers have legitimate the movies. That's how. Yes, in the games, and I haven't gotten to the X and Y movies, but in the games, we get to see Yveltal's powers being used to suck the life out of just, you know, the entire region to revive one Pokemon. So it's clearly doable. And clearly Yveltal does have these abilities, and yeah, I'll stop right there.
How do you know that Jesus actually walked
Oh
on
my
water?
God.
Stop.
Oh, we're hopping right into
You
that
want to
one.
talk?
I mean, you just got to
Schlatt, I
take, you just
hate
got
you
to
so
take God's
much.
word, I guess, you know? Jaden, you have something to say about
No,
that?
I don't think I have anything to say.
I have some questions for you guys. Do you know how much food the average lion needs to eat per day?
That is a brilliant question. That is a phenomenal question.
How much?
How much
I
do
don't know.
lions
No, I
eat?
mean, I do know, actually.
Oh, okay. I was
about
just
8 to
about
9
to
kilograms
search.
of food per day on average.
8 to 9 kilograms of food. Can we grab a calculator real quick? 8 to 9. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's say 8. Okay, kilograms of food, and that's per day.
That's a lot of food, guys.
How much, Wolf?
Oh, I don't know. No, I mean, I do know, actually.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
8 to 9 kilograms of food per day on
Okay, that is 8 to 9 kilograms of food per day. Okay, for a billion. A billion is 1, followed by how many zeros? That's a hundo, 1,000. That's a million. That's a billion, right? Yeah, yes, that is 1,000 millions. I didn't need a calculator for that. I did not. I did not need a calculator for that. Sometimes I'm happy. I mean, I'm usually happy that I don't have a face cam. Now more than ever, I'm happy I don't have a face cam. Moving right on.
That's a lot of food, guys. How are you going to sustain your lion army? That's my first question for
They're
you.
gonna eat the Pokemon.
Lion cannibalism.
We don't need all billion to survive. You know.
Okay, but look.
Okay, I'm glad you established that fact. You do not need all billion lions to survive, just like we don't need all 1,000 Pokemon to survive. We need one. If one lion survives and all the Pokemon are gone, I'll give it to the lions. Okay? And if one Pokemon survives and all the lions are gone, I'm so mean with these freezing frames. I don't mean to.
All the lion arguments you've brought have been centered around having lions en masse. You shoot all the lions out of a fucking slingshot.
You'll run out.
You have a
Don't
rocket.
forget about lion procreation.
If the lions need to eat, they're just gonna start dying.
No.
Fine. If we have lion procreation, we have Pokemon procreation. If you're allowed to have that, we're allowed to have this. What's the fucking... No. Okay, so how do Pokemon procreate? Okay, we only have one of each. Oh, so how can we procreate? Pokemon can breed based on egg groups. Plus, Ditto is there to essentially be able to breed with any Pokemon except the legendaries. Cool. So let's say. Okay, so if the lions are allowed to increase their numbers, okay, so we're no longer dealing with 1 billion of them. We're changing, that metric. We can change the metric of every Pokemon. We can start to have duplicates now, okay? Because we can have the Pokemon breed and increase their numbers. And how would that work is... And the Pokemon would breed significantly faster than the lions. You leave... How long does it take for Pokemon to breed? I know to hatch an egg... I'm really worried about searching about anything to do with Pokemon and breeding. I know the internet's a weird place, and I don't want to touch that. But like, how can I search for that and not get any insane results? I just want just regular, normal, human answers. Just how long does it take for Pokemon to lay an egg? How long does it take for a Pokemon to lay an egg? Okay, that's a pretty straight to the facts, pretty neutral search, And the internet's right back to this. Oh, I love this. Don't you just love this? Because this is amazing. Because I also one of the things I do want to say, because this isn't working. The site can't be. Is this an issue with the site itself? Am I overloading my internet right back again after, you know, what I had to deal with last time? I hope not. I'll just let that do the thing in the background. And fuck it, let's throw in one more tab. What's the name of that bird? Pokemon what's it called? The two-headed one, Doduo. I don't know how to pronounce how to spell that. Doduo. Pokédex entry. Okay, and while that search is in the background, and while I close that calculator of shame, I'll get back to this. Because yes, the reason I'm searching for Doduo is because Pokemon, the eggs that the Pokemon hatch based on the amount of steps you take, and that's a Pokemon that can take a lot of steps very quickly. Okay, that's a very fast Pokemon, so it just holds an egg, and it just, you know, runs a few laps, and then instantly, you know, there you go. And if you teach it, like if it uses like extreme speed or something, like quick attack or something, it's gone. It's so fast now. It's already super fast. Anyway. And all these eggs keep hatching, and we have more and more of these Pokemon. Sure, they'd be low level. I'll grant you that. I'm just having a completely different debate by myself at this point. I'm just saying, they'll probably be low level, but depending on what Pokemon they are, you know, if it's a Macargo, if it's a low-level Macargo, the fact that it's just there, it will wipe out, you know, all these lines, and it will gain so much experience, it'll reach level 100 in no time, if we're using game mechanics. I mean, this is entirely game mechanics, okay? You can breed Pokemon in the game, and you can level them up in the game, and, you know, fine, then I guess I'm using the Pokédex entries with the game to let Macargo annihilate these lines. Surf. Cats notoriously don't like water, even though I think it's bullshit. My cats love water, but most cats don't like water. Most cats can't swim. You just create a tsunami. You just have a bunch of water type Pokemon just stand in a line. All of them just, you know, use surf. The amount of lines of just drown and the XP they would drop, those new Pokemon, whatever Pokemon we want, you know, you just breed them all. They right there, they soak up that XP, and they're fully grown adults instantly.
But they'll eat like Caterpie.
The thing is, there is not enough Pokemon like to feed a meaningful amount of a lion.
That's
like,
100% true.
I don't know how to tell you guys this, but like 1 billion lions is a lot of lions.
No,
like,
we're on the same page on that one.
I've heard that one, actually.
How long do you think this battle's gonna be?
Well, that's the question, right? Like, first of all, okay, where are we having this battle? Is it just like, I kind of picture like a wide open field or something,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, I'm
someplace.
on like my Pangea type beat for this.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we got all
Okay.
the continents together, like, yeah, okay. I'm on board with that. I think that sounds fair.
You still have your water and everything like that.
Right, but it's probably like salt water. We're probably like near an ocean, but certainly not near like a clean body of water, right?
I'm thinking like plain field as far as the eye
I'm
can
just
see,
stunned
and then like
with what's happening. What are we deciding
the
here? Who
ocean
cares?
eventually.
What does the saline level of the water have to do with?
I'm glad you asked. So
The alley oop from this
Schlatt
team.
does not know what his teammate has cooking up.
Yeah, I don't.
you know in Yu-Gi-Oh when they have like when they're fighting against Pegasus and they're like they have to switch bodies and like each of them doesn't know what the other one knows?
What?
No.
Okay, never mind that analogy. Anyway, lions can only go 4 days without drinking water, which I
Okay.
think we can agree that if they can't eat all of the Pokemon
Within
in
4
4
days.
days,
Oh, no, this is over way before then.
oh,
Yeah?
you think it's
You
over
think
before
so?
then?
How long can Charizard?
I mean, no, I mean, you know what? I agree. I don't think it will take 4 days. It just takes one of these Pokemon to just. It's not even 1 day. It's instantaneous. All the lines are gone. usually with the Pokemon I've brought up before. I brought up Gardevoir with the black hole. I brought up Macargo with the insane, you know, body temperature, you know, double the surface of the sun. We brought up I brought up Machamp with infinite endurance, which it specifically mentions, and it can throw 1,000 punches in a blink of an eye. Okay, and each of these punches send, you know, a person across the horizon. So we can effectively say that's one punch equals one death, and it can throw 1,000 in a blink of an eye, and it never tires. Okay, brought up Dialga, which can just control time, just freeze them. Brought up Onyx and Steelix, they could just roll over and just crush all these lions. But fucking Rayquaza doesn't need to get involved, just stay in the ozone layer. Schlatt. Rayquaza is the one that stays in the ozone layer. I'm not touching Arceus, I'm not coming near that debate. But, like, you know? It's if you want, okay, fine, I am touching Arceus. We're bringing Arceus, okay? Arceus stays in the background, doesn't do anything, just creates an infinite number of Dialga, Palkia, and Giratins, you know? At the bare minimum, we have precedent in the games. In the Pokédex entries, and in the movies of Arceus creating at least these 3 legendary Pokemon. We know, so whatever metric you want to use, Arceus can create an infinite number of Pokemon that can control time, space, and antimatter. You know, if we're allowing breeding, if we're allowing these lions to increase their numbers, which, by the way, is not the debate we're having. We said 1 billion lions. If you want to replenish their numbers or increase their numbers, then we're not dealing with 1 billion lions. Okay, that's a different debate. But if you want to go that, I'm willing to grant you that. But in that same vein, the Pokemon are allowed to breed and increase their numbers. Checkmate. So yeah, Dialga stops time. Palkia banishes these lines to a different, you know, portion of space. Yeah, which they can't breathe in. Guess what? Deoxys, Rayquaza, they can stay in space infinitely. They don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them. They're just chilling. Pidgey, I told you there was a Pidgey. This one Pidgey from Pidgey Island went to space, bro. That's just a random ass Pidgey. Nothing special about it. It just really wanted to. That's it. And I imagine if their life is on the line, it's gonna really want to. We're putting these Pokemon at their max.
Fly without touching the ground.
As long as he needs to.
No.
Yes.
4 days?
Well, here's the thing, because we're gonna start.
It depends on the mechanics. If we're using the games, and I mentioned this last time, in the games, you can click fly as many times as you want. If you're talking about in the anime or in the movies, there are Pokemon that can stay up floating forever. You know? What? Like Solrock. Solrock is constantly flying. Giratina and Deoxys, they can just chill in space. They don't need to deal with gravity at all. There's no force pulling them down. They're just, you know, floating. Which means they don't even need to breathe. Which means they can go underwater. Speaking of underwater, Kyogre. Kyogre creates these tsunamis and just drowns everything. A biblical flood just takes down your entire Pangea continent, and all your lions are swept with it. That's one. Again, it doesn't, you don't need all 1,000 Pokemon. The majority of these Pokemon will be useless, okay? I've honestly been surprised by how many won't be. You know, I've been surprised with how many, you know, of the regular Pokemon. I thought, yeah, you just need the legendary Pokemon. If you remove the legendary Pokemon, the Pokemon still have this.
Go back to something that I talked about earlier. Let's say you're playing the Pokemon game, right? You're like a little kid, and you're like, I'm gonna fly with my Charizard. You open up your menu, and you click fly on Charizard.
Yes.
And you fly to a city.
Yes.
How many times can you do that in a row without Charizard getting tired?
Okay, well, do you really want to go game mechanics?
Well,
Then would you rather do anime? I asked you. You said that this is the most
you can
fair.
do it an infinite amount of times.
Yes.
We need to be realistic about this argument, Wolf.
Yeah.
Yes. Realistic when you're talking about magical beings that have seemingly, limitless powers. This is as realistic as it gets, okay? So realistically, you're fucked.
I think you're being a little disingenuous.
Jacob, you just said something really interesting. We need to be realistic.
Yes, thank you, Schlatt. I was just about to bring up the fucking jacket and rocket stick.
And I stand by it.
And your debate partner, Jaden Animation's winning argument last time was lion jacket.
That's literally a thing.
And what about
That's
it?
literally a thing.
It's not. It's not. We have to be realistic here. The Lions won't do shit together. They are going to be awful teammates.
Yes.
That dude doesn't know about the lion ladder.
There's literally proof of lion ladder.
So, okay, let's go on this. I don't think, regardless of the outcome winner, I don't think this lasts more than 4 days.
Yeah, I think
No,
it's going to be
not
an
at all.
explosive battle.
Yes,
I
it
agree with
is
you in some ways, but I don't
instantly.
agree with you in all ways, because I think that most of the
That was just
Pokemon.
one sentence.
But here's the thing: like most of the Pokemon, I think would not last 4 days. What is Caterpie gonna do? Right? What is
Yeah.
Weedle gonna do?
I'm down,
But then
I'm
you think
down.
about Pokemon like I don't know, Rayquaza,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Which like canonically lives in outer space and like in game and anime in Pokedex. And
Okay,
all
well,
things.
I don't think in this battle he's being a pussy in space. I think he's coming down.
If he wants to, there was a war. That the Earth was going to shit. Okay, Kyogre and Groudon were destroying the entire planet, and only then Rayquaza is just like, oh, fine, I'll go down to stop the fighting. If it's just a bunch of lions, you think Rayquaza gives a shit? If he wants to join, he can. If he wants to fuck off, he very much will.
When he's on the battlefield,
Yeah.
you can't just say Dialga is currently warping through
He
time.
totally
Why
could
not?
be.
You know, I've never
Explain.
met a Rayquaza personally, but I do like to think that like it probably the number one rule for most of these Pokemon is that they don't want to die, right? Like I think that's probably a fair assumption.
My point with the whole anime and games, like, because the reason I picked the Pokedex, because other than obviously it makes my point better, it's the only one that genuinely deals with Pokemon dying. Because in the games, Pokemon don't die. You could take their health to 0. You could nuke them. You could have a level 1 Rattata, okay? A level 1 Caterpie, whatever it is, on 1 health point, going up against whoever you want, using Hyper Beam, Earthquake, whatever, and destroying it. But you know what ends up happening? That Pokemon just faints, and it gets back up unscathed. You take it to the Pokemon Center, and yes, I've addressed this. There are Pokemon that can heal. There are specifically healing Pokemon, like Blissey, Chansey, that one from Gen 5 that replaced Blissey and Chansey. There are plenty of healing Pokemon, okay? Meganium has plenty of healing abilities, okay? They'll revive the Pokemon. They'll heal them. They'll make sure they're in tip-top shape for the fight. You have Plusle and Minun using Helping Hand. All those attacks are full power. I'm just saying. Your only chance for the rules we were going to set for this is Pokedex. And the Pokedex keeps explaining how these Pokemon are ridiculously overpowered. In the games, in the anime, none of the Pokemon die. Okay? Doesn't matter what they've been up against, doesn't matter what they've been fighting, at worst, they faint. And if you want to follow like anime and movies, they faint for seconds. They faint, and by the time their trainer walks onto the battlefield to go, check up on them, they're awake again. Okay? So they don't need much healing. At least in the games, they faint, until they're healed. And again, the Pokedex, not much you're going to do against that. These Pokemon are described as some of the most overpowered things, in anime. Fine, I take that back. There are lots of overpowered things in anime, but the Pokemon are up there, okay? And this is 1,000 of them. Against, again, 1 billion is a lot, but it's not that much. Does that make sense? Again, just I think what really helps me put this in perspective is 1 billion is a ridiculously high number. However, we have 8 billion humans, It's very... It's not like, I mean, I get it, there's too many of us, but it's not like we're like running into each other, and there's a lot of land we don't touch. You know?
I don't know if that's the rules of the fight, though. I don't think
what
that
rules?
it
Let's
would
set
be
the rules.
a fair and just.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's fair to say, oh, you can't fight him because he's up in the sky.
Why?
So you have to fight all billion right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In what way is...
Cool. Again, Schlatt, it doesn't matter. They're so ridiculously outmatched, it does not matter. You, again, it just depends on what, you know, category we're dealing with. But again, if I'm granting them the one where they have the possibility of defeating the Pokemon, which is using the Pokedex entries, those ones, it is a one-hit KO. Unless you have these lions, you wouldn't have 1 billion. You would need a number so high, they wouldn't be on this planet. Because you understand, this entire planet would be gone if subject to the surface temperature of the sun, right? So you and if you have a cluster of lions that big, they would mostly just crush each other under their own weight. It's just that it's not, you know, it's not a close fight. It's not close. It is so clearly, you know, the Pokemon. So it doesn't even make sense to say, you know, that it's a debate. It isn't. It isn't. The Pokemon dominate this.
Is that fair?
Okay. What if we hide a lion far away from where every other Pokemon can find him?
Okay, there you go.
Suddenly we win, and we give him enough food.
That's a totally valid way to win.
Yes.
You could totally win doing that.
I'm cool with that, but you know what? These Pokemon, they have, you know, sensory abilities as well. They search for stuff. They search for stuff effectively, and they can cover a lot of land. They can move really fast, and they have, you know, like they'll track down that last line, and even if they don't, and the fight just ends with like all those lions dead, there's just one of them that managed to survive with all the food and all the water and all the resources. Eventually that lion, these Pokemon, they live for, again, we don't know a limit for their lives.
You guys probably haven't considered, it's like a bit of a novel concept.
Bro, I'm
but
getting mansplained for lions.
1 billion lions is a lot of lions. Like, it's too many lions, guys.
It's nowhere near enough.
Your brain
Actually,
and put them in lions somewhere randomly in the 1 billion lion army, right? How are you gonna know where the Pokemon are?
Holy fuck.
Are we like fighting in a maze? Or
No,
I mean,
like,
no,
but I mean, like,
I
1 billion
get-
is a lot
I
of
get
lions.
that
Like, they're
point.
covering an entire. The biggest human army of all time is. Let me just check my sources here.
yeah, 1 billion is a lot. We understand.
12.2 million. So this is almost 100 times bigger than the biggest human army of all time, and they're all.
And they're
in
not
one
going to be able
place.
to communicate.
Like, you're basically in a forest with 1 billion trees.
That's fucking great. I love that. How are you gonna know?
Like, the Pokemon don't actually have to beat 1 billion lions. They only have to beat the lions that can find them.
That's fucking great. You guys just got fucked. You got
Assumption that the lions can't find the Pokemon.
Wait, no. How is that an assumption? Like, think about it. Our brain.
All of this is in it. Makes a lot of sense. You know, if you have an army of 1 billion, you're not going to be able to coordinate. That's first of all. But how would you see? How do you see over that army to know where your enemy even is? Because it does cover a lot of your field of view. You know? So it's just going to be a small cluster of lions, small relatively, that are able to find the Pokemon or know how to deal with them. And that's assuming the Pokemon are all bunched together for zero reason. But even if they were bunched together, you know, in just this formation, you know, back to back, fighting off these lions, they like, we can agree the average Pokemon is stronger than the average lion. like one-on-one fight. There's a reason you need a billion, and even if you have a billion, this is just getting ridiculous and nothing's loading. 2 in effect, you should be able to get a Pokemon egg to spawn every 30 seconds. What? Every 30 seconds, you could get another bro. I was thinking like it's gonna take like, you know, a few hours. Every 30 seconds. You're finished. You done goofed, okay? It's
like you guys. I'm gonna say something super controversial. I think you guys are smarter than the average lion, right?
Oh, thank you.
I think that's probably fair.
Not all of them are gonna be able to eat. And guess what happens when you put a bunch of lions where some of them get to eat and some of them don't? That is a recipe for fighting. That's a recipe for infighting. And these lions are gonna turn on each other if some of them are allowed to eat while others have to sit back and watch.
Value and sizes.
To entertain the Pokemon side, I think if you guys somehow manage to win, like, it would still be over within a day. Like, I don't think this is a long battle.
Yeah, and
I agree.
Here's what I've been
done
saying.
in
The whole like, I think most of the Pokemon will die immediately. I think that's the case too. And I don't even know shit about Pokemon.
Yes.
But it's always the small percentage. You know, like 3 people in America control everybody's money. A couple Pokemon are going to be fucking all the lions.
Yes.
And that's a fact. And here's the thing. I'm not even going to talk about Charizard anymore because you already know how awesome he is.
Please don't. Please
brought
move
up,
on
and
from Charizard.
Jane, you got to let me know if this is a touchy subject, but I brought up Arceus. God.
No, continue.
I'm sure Wolfie knows a bunch more of these things that are really strong. Apparently one of them's in space.
Arceus is weak to rocks. We can just throw rocks at him.
Yeah.
The lions don't know that.
Lion rock throw.
There's probably one Pokemon that I don't think any number of lions could ever do.
And Arceus, what do you mean Arceus is weak to rocks? Arceus is normal type. They're only weak to fighting type. I mean, and Arceus could just change its type to whatever it wants if it has the right plate.
Defeat, and that is Rotom Washing Machine.
Huh?
What?
Today's episode is sponsored by Raid Shadow Let Shadow.
What the?
Is the washing machine one good?
That's
Yes,
Rotom.
but it looks, sometimes it's an oven. That's a good question. Yeah, there's
Link in the legend in the description.
washing machine, and just realistically,
Okay,
like,
well, first off, not in the
What?
equation. One of every Pokemon. We have
Sorry.
not ever said other variants.
oh, that's a good question. Wait, yeah, so some Pokemon have multiple variants. So there's a Pokemon called Rotom, which is
Okay. But I mean, if Pokemon have multiple variants, again, we haven't established what rules we're going by. Because in the anime or the movies, Arceus can just change its type to whenever it wants. Okay? Whenever it wants. It doesn't require the plates. But in the games, it does. Okay? So, using that same, logic, Rotom could probably do the same if we're going, anime rules. But are we going game rules? Are we going, again, Pokedex rules? Because the Pokedex... Can Rotom just decide to change its form according to the Pokedex? I don't think so. But that's fine. Who gives a shit? What about Rotom Washing Machine? What does that mean?
motor backwards, and
It is
can
the
go into
same
different
species of Pokemon as Rotom.
Yes, but it looks, sometimes it's an oven,
Nice
sometimes
try,
it's a
buddy.
lawnmower.
So he can become different household appliances.
What,
Yeah.
how,
he's
how does
awesome.
that help?
And why is the washing machine one good?
Yeah,
How
why
does
is
any
the-
of them help?
He can wash clothes. You know what I
That's
mean?
the argument because the lions wouldn't
Like, what are they
fight
gonna do? Think
Rotom
about
because
it.
they're like, what the hell
Maybe we can wash the lion jacket. I don't know. What?
is this thing?
All right, well, hold on. Let's think of
I mean,
some
yeah,
other
I get
regular...
it. If okay, for example, electric Pokemon, okay? The lions can't really, bite into that, you know? It's just gonna end up, electrocuting them. Because that voltage, that electricity is in their bodies, right?
form Pokemon that are really strong.
The same with the
I think the
poison.
legendaries are the big ones. Like, think about, there's a Pokemon, there's several Pokemon that are made of metal.
Yeah. My first thought was the legendary Pokemon, because the legendary Pokemon are just, deities. But you have plenty of Pokemon that aren't legendary that just instantly surprised me with how overpowered they would be in this fight.
Like Steelix.
Bro, okay, I actually have a
Steelix,
funny
yeah,
story.
Steelix
I
would
was
work.
at Creator Clash, and we were talking about this
Nobody
exact
asked.
topic in a group, and then Michael Reeves was trying to wrap his head around what this argument could be, and throughout this party, he found me multiple times throughout the night, and would just pull me aside and be like, yo, wait, what about Steelix? No, just kept bringing up one Pokemon at a time.
And we'd be like, I think the lions would crush him.
And I really hope
The Lions would not
Yeah.
be
I
able
hope
to
you
do
listen to
shit.
this.
Yeah, Lily was like, why did you do this to him?
Well, hey, maybe for round 3 they could come on and share their case.
It's just like a reoccurring thing of just like plaguing people with
Every
the
once in
lions
a while,
versus
just start this
Pokemon
debate.
What's the lion answer to like Pokemon going underground, like Diglett?
Ooh.
Well, they gotta
Okay,
come back
fair.
eventually, otherwise I think the Pokemon
why?
is disqualified. Well, that's the same
Disqualified?
situation.
Hang on, that's not.
Disqualified? What is this? Like a competition? No, this is a war. There's no disqualified in war. You can just bend and change the rules.
That's
It's
not
the
fair.
same
We never
situation
agreed to that.
as-
Jaden, I would like to propose Lion Dig, and they also go down after.
Lions
They
cannot
chase
use
Steelix
dig.
down to the core of the world, and then he burns and dies.
Well, he doesn't have to go that deep because the thing is, this again. There's,
Oh, well, he does. Lions are after him.
well, how are they gonna know where he goes?
Every situation you propose turns into a game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
Because it's so silly to think that the Lions would act coordinated here. They wouldn't.
Here's the thing. When you factor in Rattata, Caterpie, even Pikachu, we have so many...
Okay, because you're talking about lions using dig and bite and crunch, which they cannot use, by the way, okay? They're lions. Especially dig, okay? Bite, okay, lions actually bite, so fine, I can get that, and lions might be able to crunch something, so I'm willing to grant these two. Maybe not crunch, but I'm willing to grant bite, okay? Okay? Because lions, for example, claw at stuff, but I wouldn't say they can use fury swipes, that's just ridiculous. Dig? No. Okay? And if lions are able to use stuff like that, which I'm saying they don't. I don't think that's fair or makes sense. Then Rattata or these low-level weak Pokemon that would be able to die, fucking focus sash those babies. Those Pokemon with sturdy, just go stand right there, go down to 1 hit point. Let's use the fear strategy. Endeavor, lower these super giant lions, you know, attacking this small weak little rat or caterpillar. And they get taken down by it because these Pokemon use Endeavor and they lower their health and then just quick attack, take them out. Perfect strat. Okay? And that Rattata, that Caterpie, still alive. It did that, now it goes right back, runs back to heal, regenerate its health, and then rinse and repeat, baby. It's unbeatable.
Any lions who are off duty right now?
I mean, this is if we're using like Pokemon attacks. If we're going game rules, then sure, then then they can do that. And I understand game rule. Yes, okay, that's there you go. I wanted an infinite win or a guaranteed win with game rules. You have a line of these low-level weak Pokemon, the ones with sturdy, the ones with low health but can learn Endeavor and Quick Attack because that's really it. And then you have a bunch of tanks, tanky Pokemon. They stand up there to block them while these Pokemon run back and get healed. Okay, by the whatever healing squad, the Blissies and whatevers. And then they switch out. They send those little weak Pokemon to take down just a line of lions while they heal up the tanks. So the tanks jump back into the fight full health, able to take down, or they don't have to even take them down, just hold them off and and they just keep rinse and repeat. Just rinse and repeat. That's using game rules in a real life situation.
And we can just, the whole Lion Council is so coordinated. They send like 5 million.
There's no Lion Council.
Just to focus on Steelix.
There's no
they
Lion
don't know
Council.
where, they won't even know where Steelix is.
Where
the
to
thing.
start.
Because, and actually,
I think that's just such a boring argument.
And
To be
even if
honest.
it's
Like,
boring,
people are
doesn't
asking
matter.
for a.
No, I'm with Jaden.
People are asking for
Yeah,
a
of course you
fight
are.
of wits and bravery, and
I
we're-
think this is wits.
Yeah,
I
it's
think this is
definitely
strategic.
wits.
Okay, well, hear me out. I'll give you this. I think that Pokemon could outlive the lions.
Yes.
If the Pokemon are all going to go in their wildly different ways and
They
be
could.
pussies in outer space and underground, fine.
They could
you
do
can
that.
win. But
I
think we're
mean,
just...
look, hey, is it a pussy strategy if you're living your best life, not worrying about like other people, staying out of war? Alpha Red, are you calling for more wars in the world? Okay? If Pokemon are choosing peace or choosing to avoid more death and conflicts, I'm with Pokemon on this one, okay? And honestly, I think that is very wrong of you, and I think that's yes, bad. Alpha Red, warmonger.
Describing an all-out battle.
Okay.
Yeah, where like lions and Pokemon are magnetically constantly fighting towards each other.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, hear me out. I think if you spread 1 billion lions across the whole world, the Pokemon could never find them either.
No, you think so? I think eventually they could. They could, if that was their objective, if that was their goal. They're again. I brought up Alakazam with an IQ. It was 5,000. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous number. For an IQ, it's not. Okay.
You reverse the argument.
But we didn't reverse the argument. You know what I mean?
This is a hypothetical, my guy. So, in this hypothetical, I think if you scattered 1 billion lions across the earth, the Pokemon could never find them, because that's...
No? Well, they don't have to, okay? The lions are on a time limit, the Pokemon are not, okay? That's the difference here. The lions need to take down the Pokemon to be able to win this argument. The Pokemon just need to outlive them. Because the Pokemon do outlive the lions. Okay? That's one way to answer that. Okay? And another way, the Pokemon absolutely could hunt down the lions. They have, you know, there's Mudkip that has a literal sonar on its head. It can search for these lions. It can find them. Okay? You have the Noctowl that can just use, like, I don't know what kind of vision that is, but it's like heat vision or something. It can find them throughout the night. There's no escaping that. You know? You have psychic Pokemon with like giant fields of like, you know, of influence. They can find the lions. You can have the Pokemon fly and scout the land because you said Pangea. So there's a wall. There's a wall. Like there's a limit to how far these lions can go out, you know? They'll hit water at some point and they can't cross that water. There's no land to cross to. There's just this land. And yeah, and the Pokemon can definitely hunt them down. Not to mention the legendary Pokemon, like for example Darkrai. Darkrai could just, you know, go through walls, just fly through everything. Most Ghost Pokemon, I think all Ghost Pokemon could do that. Just go through walls and just search underground everywhere that there are no caves these lions might be hiding in.
A lot of lions.
Well, you're forgetting about the
a lot
move
of lions.
Sweet Scent, which causes...
Okay. I mean, I would not use that argument, but it's a thing.
Pokemon in the area.
Around the world. You said in the area.
Yes, but you have multiple Pokemon, and you could use that attack more than once.
That is like a zip code at best.
If we're going based on game logic, you'll have to be on the same route as the Pokemon or
Fair
as
enough.
the lion.
Yeah, but you have fly. If we're going based on game logic, there's
You're
not like
gonna
there's a limit.
crop dust the whole
Well, if you're going on the
Pangea?
game logic, you can only fly to towns you've been to. Has Charizard been everywhere?
Oh, he could eventually.
Okay, you can't say he could do this when I say the lions could find Steelix.
I think that this whole argument has been, how can we kind of weasel out of fighting the lions? We're here to fight.
Not
Give
me.
us a Pokemon that you don't
I've-
think the lions can.
Well, let's think about offensive. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer that the Pokemon could evade the lions for as long as they.
1000%.
And I don't
Yes.
think you guys have proved otherwise. You just are like, oh, it's boring that way.
Well, I just said that like the lions can find him underground, and Wolfie goes, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah,
Well,
well,
they can't.
because
What kind of argument
lions
is
can't
that?
dig.
That's even more evasive.
It's all dirt down there. So, what are some Pokemon that have really good offensive moves, perhaps?
Yeah, so basically there are Pokemon that can hit anything adjacent to them. Is typically how it's
Okay, so
phrased.
we're
Basically,
going-
there are moves that are called spread moves, which whereas
Okay, see, this is why, okay, game logic, fine. But again, with game logic, these Pokemon are immortal beings, okay? There is no beating these Pokemon. This isn't a Nuzlocke, you know? You choose to put the Pokemon in the box, okay? These Pokemon, it's a life or death situation. They'll snap out of it, they'll get healed up, and they'll go right back to fighting.
And what's the maximum amount of Pokemon that move has hit?
The maximum amount of
has hit. You're talking about precedent that has been set. The thing is, you also don't have precedent. Sorry, for 1 billion lines working together, but we're granting that. So we can grant this in the exact same way that these spread moves are able to spread significantly more than just what is allowed in the game battlefield for balance reasons. Okay, you throw these Pokemon out into the real world, and that surf attack or that earthquake attack that covers a lot of land. That's an earthquake. Okay, an earthquake is never going to affect just 6 individuals. Okay, that's not how earthquake works. That's not how earthquakes work. It's an actual earthquake. Okay, and that earthquake is gonna affect, I mean, from all the way from small towns to continents. Okay, earthquakes can be devastating, and you know, and these are Pokemon fighting for their lives. They're probably gonna pull all their strength and even coordinate their earthquakes together to kill all the Pokemon, the lions, and maybe some Pokemon. That's probably it. But I mean, a lot of Pokemon can fly, so, or have levitate, so they're immune.
Pokemon a move has been able to target is the maximum amount of Pokemon in a battle.
Yeah, that is also true. That is also very true. That is a very sneaky and clever and but very correct answer. It's very true. That is exactly what happens. It's attacked the maximum number of Pokemon in the battle. There just so happen to only be 6 Pokemon in the battle, but we have to assume that if there were 7 or 8 or 9 Pokemon in that battle, that move would cover that land, and that move, if it goes up to however number, shouldn't matter. It's an earthquake. It's just because they're in the same vicinity. It's because those Pokemon are in the same battlefield, so they're affected by the same attacks. Yeah, so I think that works for the Pokemon.
Oh, that is goalpost moving if I've ever
Yeah,
heard
that's
it.
not
What is
goalpost
the
moving.
definitive number, the maximum amount earthquake has hit?
I would
Has
say
hit.
100%, but the
No, answer my question.
maximum number
Answers
is
all of them.
What is
Yes,
the
it is,
quantity
it
of
is.
Pokemon
It
you have
is.
seen earthquake hit in game?
This
It
is just
is 5
anecdotal.
is the
This
max.
is
It is 5.
anecdotal. That is anecdotal evidence. This is just our current, what I've seen. I haven't seen a lot of things. That doesn't mean they're not real or not how they work. Okay? Wolfie, I hate that you brought this argument up. but I like how you answered it.
Not the implied maximum, but
Yes.
the maximum that we know has. I think
Yes.
it's fair to say all adjacent, like that, because that's how it works in the game.
I would
What-
also say all adjacent if my actual number was 5. 'Cause that's a lot less than 1 billion if you didn't know.
But the lions have to get adjacent to attack a Pokemon.
That is also
Wolf,
true.
are you aware of the phrase "death by 1,000 cuts"?
Yeah.
I think that is how most of these battles go. You are describing how does one lion deal with Groudon when in reality it is millions and millions of lions focused on taking Groudon down slowly but efficiently.
Yes. But the temperature that is coming off of Groudon, it's going to be the same like trying to attack the colossal Titan, just steam coming off. They're not going to be able to do anything. That is an active volcano just walking around. It doesn't matter how many lines you throw at it.
They don't know where he is.
They don't know where he is.
They
See,
don't know where he
We
is.
just switched the fucking frustrating arguments Jaden was throwing on me the whole time.
The
Yeah.
best part about being on the lion side is just that you can dismantle any argument by saying 1 billion is a lot.
That's what
But
I'm
it doesn't, because I understand that instinct, but that instinct works if you're a big dum-dum. And Alphared, I'm sorry to say this, sorry, no, I can change this around. Alfred, I believe you're not a big dum-dum. Okay, I think you're very smart. Okay, 1 billion is a big number. 1 billion lines is a lot of lines. However, if you look at it, at the size of the planet, there are 8 billion humans. That is 8 times the number you're talking about. That is a lot more, okay? And we're dealing with billions here, okay? So if you take 1 billion lines, or if you take 8 billion humans and you put them up against the temperature of the surface of the sun, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All the lions are gone. If you put them in that situation, up against that fight, it's over.
Saying we're in agreement. Guys, have you thought about how much poop a billion lions would produce?
They're all gonna start shitting. They're immediately just gonna shit all over the place and
Well, it doesn't have to be immediate. I'm just saying.
I would expect that they'd probably be staggered. I don't think all 1 billion lions are shitting at
fun
once.
time.
It goes from not a problem to a problem, I think, pretty quickly once it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Wolfie, can
Okay,
you talk to
no,
me
I
about
get
Arceus?
that.
Yeah. So the tricky thing, Schlatt, is that
let's
like
go with Arceus.
we're
Yes, what about him?
like we're trying to avoid lore here, right? Like
Why?
what
Why
the
are we
games
trying
say
to
the
avoid
Pokemon
lore?
do, and Arceus, canonically is God in universe. It's kind of the same thing as like the Pokemon who can time travel, right? Or like
Yes.
there's a Pokemon that literally guarantees victory.
Victini. How could I not bring up Victini? Victini, yes, exactly. It guarantees victory. It's over. What?
Want to get into like the Arceus stuff? Like, I know we're not pulling from anime,
Why?
but I still think it's funny. That dude got suffocated under some debris, just some rocks.
In the
nearly
anime?
killed Arceus.
It was
Yeah.
in
Notice
one
I'm
of the
saying
movies, I
Arceus
think.
instead of God here. I think it's an important distinction.
Speaking of legendary Pokemon, Schlatt, did you know that there's a Pokemon that causes damage to anything that's sleeping near it?
Huh? No, I didn't. Tell me about that.
So basically, if the lions fall asleep, they won't
Which
be
they will.
restful. They will have the ability is called Bad Dreams, and it damages anything that's sleeping.
What does Darkrai do offensively?
Dark
Well, he
Knight?
can put them to
to
sleep,
sleep.
which is
Yeah,
stupid.
Like,
exactly.
what's the accuracy of that happens?
Depends what generation we're talking.
All right, so 500 million lions are asleep.
Yeah, so immediately 500 million.
Are there Pokemon who can like conceal themselves or hide or pretend to be something they're not? That the lions would just walk right
Yeah.
by?
Yeah, so
Yes.
there are Pokemon that can like disguise themselves as other things. Zora can do it. And so
Or yeah, Zora can do it. Ditto can just transform into literally whatever. Did I just go blank? Sudowoodo, its thing is pretending to be a tree, so it can blend in with the trees. And there was another one I was gonna bring up. Kecleon. Kecleon can just go invisible. So, yeah.
Ditto.
But I do think lion cannibalism gives him a chance at being killed, so it doesn't really matter.
I agree.
I think we need to lay some ground rules first. I think it's fine to go underground. The lions will find you.
The lions
But
will not be able to find you if you go.
I don't think it's fair to say some can be in space.
I think it's
Why?
uninteresting if we say that they go to space. So I'm willing to. I'm happy to kind of yield there.
I'm not.
I want to win. I
Ever
don't
heard
care.
of drones? We fight wars. We fight wars in real boring ways this time around, man. We got little DJI Mavics up in the air dropping bombs on people these days.
Hear me out, actually. Let's entertain that point, Slat. I think, let's say the lions kill every single Pokemon, and they probably have like a good amount of lions left. And
What?
Rayquaza is still in space. You
Okay.
give lions time, they reproduce. We're now past 1 billion lions, and
What?
over centuries maybe, the lions can grow as
What?
a society, and I think they will one day become as advanced as we are.
Oh.
And then they go to space and kill Rayquaza.
Well, that is the dumbest. Okay. All right. By the time